name's Marsh, Webster Marsh. Some of you have noticed that I recently joined a lighting design firm located in the streets of Boston. It's a place that truly values the people behind the work. It's collaborative, supportive, and intentional in how it treats both clients and staff. An experience I've only had a couple of times in my life. But getting there required something uncomfortable, something risky. It required me to walk away from jobs without having anything lined up. Not because I wanted a sabbatical, not because I was chasing some romantic dream, but because staying would have done more damage than leaving ever could. If you've worked in this industry long enough, you've probably seen what happens when people stay in an environment that slowly wears them down. At first, you tell yourself you're just being professional. You're enduring. You're being resilient. But something subtle begins to happen. You start becoming a version of yourself you don't recognize. You get short with coworkers. You hoard information. You make decisions based on fear instead of vision. And eventually, the work stops feeling meaningful. It becomes survival. Endurance without boundaries doesn't build character. It erodes it. And when your values are constantly being chipped away for the sake of staying comfortable, that's not stability. That's slow self-destruction. Leaving without a plan is terrifying. But sometimes the bravest thing you can say is, "This isn't who I am." Sometimes walking away is the only way to make space for something better. Before I go any further, I want to make something clear. Not every place I've worked has been toxic. In fact, I've had the privilege of working with some truly great teams and some genuinely good leaders over the years. People who cared about doing the right thing, who supported their colleagues, and who believed in the work we were doing. But like most people who have spent enough time in any industry, I've also seen the other side of that coin. And sometimes those experiences are the ones that teach you the most about what a healthy company culture actually looks like. And that idea, company culture, people, leadership, is exactly what got me thinking about a company called BubblyNet. It was a hot June afternoon when I walked into their offices. In my line of work, you expect to see developers hunched over keyboards, coffee mugs balancing precariously on desk edges, and the quiet hum of overworked HVAC systems. But this place felt different. Something about the atmosphere caught my attention. The natural light pouring through the windows, people talking to each other instead of talking at screens. A kind of calm energy. It was peculiar, maybe eccentric. But whatever it was, I wanted to understand it. So I sat down with Joe Gorecki, their lead cloud developer. We shook hands, exchanged the usual pleasantries. Then, I turned the proverbial spotlight on him. "All right, Gorecki," I said, "what's so great about this joint?" Joe leaned back like a man who'd been asked that question before. He told me about his boss, Fabio. According to Joe, Fabio wasn't just a boss. He was a leader. Someone who trusted people to do the job they were hired to do.
And I came here and I met Fabio, and Fabio's like a really good boss. Like he's a really good...
What makes him a good boss?
Good leader, great vision, gives good feedback, good responses, growth versus, never been morale will improve. The meetings will continue until morale improves. So that's why Fabio's a good boss, because he led us, Comes out and he's like, "We got a problem." I'm like, "I can solve it." And he's like, "Go do it." Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as we do a good job, right?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But like, what is a good job in his definition?
Solves problems, is scalable, is scalable, is workable in the future, and we can continue to iterate off of it to make it better.
Joe described moments when problems would appear and Fabio's response was simple. Go solve it. Not micromanaging. Not hovering. Just trust. Joe said working there didn't feel like putting out one small fire while the rest of the building burned down. It felt like they were actually building something long-term. Eventually, Fabio joined the conversation. He told me something that stuck with me. Employees, he said, have a responsibility to have fun. Not amusement park fun, but the kind of fun that comes from meaningful work. If people are grinding endlessly to survive the day, something is wrong with the system. People should be building something, growing. And if they aren't, they should talk about it. Anyone can walk into his office. Anyone can raise concerns. Because when communication breaks down, culture breaks down. The second pillar of their culture was freedom. Freedom doesn't mean chaos. It means giving people room to make decisions while also giving them clear goals. When that balance works, something remarkable happens. People take ownership. They stop waiting to be told what to do. Innovation follows naturally. Fabio also talked about mentorship. He compared it to lighting design. Imagine designing a lighting system for a building. Weeks of planning, careful aiming, fine adjustments. Then, one night you walk by the building after dark, and the lighting is perfect.
One of the most precious characteristics for an executive is to be able to find the right activity for the right person. Over the years, I would have low performers, and you realize it's not their thing. You just move them a little bit, and now you have a top performer. So there is different factors. Back to your question, what do you do when you see these slowing down or too many failures and so on? So there is many aspects, starting with who gave those failures. But then, of course, if the target was a total achievable target and it didn't get achieved, then you need to look outside your perimeter and try to understand what went wrong.
He said mentoring people feels the same way. Watching someone grow, helping someone reach their potential. That's the real reward. Eventually, our conversation wrapped up. I stepped outside into the warm afternoon air, and I started thinking about the broader industry, lighting controls, technology, engineering. For all the complexity we deal with, protocols, sensors, commissioning tools, this is still fundamentally a human business. We design systems for people, and the companies building those systems are made of people. Yet too many companies fall into the same trap. They chase quarterly profits. They make decisions based on fear. You start hearing phrases like, "Don't rock the boat. That's how we've always done it. Just ship it." That mindset creates urgency without vision, pressure without purpose. Eventually, burnout follows. Teams leave. Products suffer. Because culture always shows up in the final product. Companies like BubblyNet remind us that there's another way. You can build a culture based on trust. You can empower people instead of controlling them. You can prioritize long-term thinking. When companies invest in people, those people invest back. They bring better ideas. They care about the work. They build better products. And when I see other companies operating with the same philosophy, it gives me hope for the future of this industry. Because the lighting controls industry doesn't just need better technology. It needs better cultures. Cultures where mentorship matters, where leadership means serving the team, where innovation is driven by curiosity, not fear. At the end of the day, lighting controls isn't just about switches and sensors. It's about people. Maybe it's not about teaching old dogs new tricks. Maybe it's about building a yard where they want to learn new tricks. And for the record, BubblyNet didn't sponsor this episode. They didn't pay for the airtime, and they certainly didn't get to read the script ahead of time. I just stopped by, asked some questions, and thought the story was worth telling. Thanks for listening. That's the news from the city, where the flick of a switch tells a story. This is Webster Marsh bidding you good night.